If everyone's set and ready, we'll begin. So all of this is live and coming to Nick.
Warren, feeling of relief that this game is on at all?
I haven't really thought of the emotions. Yeah, just happy that things have been sorted and we can finally focus on preparing for Saturday.
How's it affected the preparations?
Guys are good this morning. We had a meeting with the players just to announce the team to them and to say, look, it's an opportunity for us to draw a line under the sand and just focus completely on preparing for Saturday.
And the 60 cap rule moving to 25, what are your thoughts on how that might affect the Welsh national squad and the Welsh regional game?
I haven't even thought about that at all. That was only sort of yesterday, so I haven't, like my whole focus has been on Saturday. I'm not sort of trying to think too far ahead. I'm not even thinking about what players that may affect or not affect. Just the preparation and preparing for Saturday is most important.
Fairly radical surgery on the team. Mason Grady, the new cap, tell us about him.
We've been impressed with him coming in. He's quick. He brings some physicality into that. He's still young. Asked him the other day, what's your biggest work on? And he said, be more vocal and talking. So, but he's got some fantastic attributes in terms of potentially what he can bring to the game, and it's a great opportunity for him. And himself and Joe have played games together before, so it's a young midfield combination, which is pretty exciting. And we brought some experience back and with the squad and the changes that we made, and with a few young faces.
Owen Williams at fly half, his first international start in that position. Why has he been chosen ahead of Dan Biggar?
We spoke about giving players an opportunity. It's probably one position at the moment where we're lacking some real experience and back up to someone like Dan. So that's definitely a position that, in terms of the future, it's important. We've got, say, someone like Gareth Anscombe, who hopefully will come back from injury, but he's had a number of injuries over the last few years. Owen Williams has had injuries as well, and but we've been pleased with the way that he has been playing. He's missed some training with a bit of a back injury last week, but he's 100% and fit and available. So it's a great chance for him. And then obviously with that Ospreys combination with himself and Joe having had a few games together, it was a chance for us to see where we are, sort of building towards the end of the year.
And there's a lot of youth in the pack at Murrayfield. You've opted now to bring back some of the more experienced guys like Alan Wynne-Jones, Talupe Faletau, Justin Tipprick. What's the thinking there? Yeah,
just giving some experience to that forward pack around some of the youngsters. In fairness to those guys, they've we made changes for the Scotland game. We brought that experience back, and they've been training the house down. They've been training exceptionally well. They deserve their spots, and then there's mixed in with some youngsters around them who'll also benefit from their time in the game.
And what are your thoughts on England as opponents and their performances so far in the Championship?
Obviously I see them as a little bit like us, and sort of going through a little bit of a rebuilding phase in terms of new coaching setup and things, and Steve's obviously trying to find his feet in terms of the best way forward, and moving Farrell back to 10. They've probably dispensed at the moment with the Marcus Smith and Farrell combination. They've gone for someone who's a bit more robust and Ollie Lawrence in terms of the midfield and carrying forward, and so I think he's definitely trying to find his best combinations going forward, and obviously with a new setup in terms of backroom staff as well. So we're probably a little bit in similar situations, but I think for both of us this game is absolutely massive, because we win on Saturday and then we go away to Italy and France, and we can finish the Six Nations on a real positive, and for them a loss on Saturday and their last two games are France and Ireland, which are pretty challenging as well. So it's definitely a huge game for both England and Wales.
Can you use a sort of backs to the wall feeling in the camp and the nation to your advantage, do you think?
No, it's not something that we'll be talking about. I don't think there's any lack of motivation, the history and the passion between Wales and England and getting up for the game, and I'm confident the guys will be ready for that on Saturday.
Okay, Graham.
Warren, as you say, you brought back a lot of experience, but was part of the thinking that you needed to consider things like character, temperament, a bit of guidance, if you like, given the background this week?
Yeah, possibly. Some of those experienced players have been through a lot of big situations. They've been through Grand Slams and winning Six Nations and World Cup semi-finals. So they've handled a huge amount of pressure, and there's definitely been it's been a challenging week with all that's been going on, particularly in the earlier part of the week, and so definitely some of that experience. One of the other things was, if you look at the 5 English players were involved in the 23, we had to make a call on that, because if we didn't name the team on Tuesday or didn't notify their clubs that they were involved in the 23, then they all would have had to go back to the English clubs on Tuesday. So that was something that we had to consider and debate, and I was asked by the players not to name the team on Tuesday, and that was about as much as about protecting them as well, because if the game did get called off with naming 23, then all of a sudden those 23 players are in the spotlight for almost being accused of calling the game off, and then I know what happens after that. And you guys go around and you individually target them and ask them, did you want the game to go ahead, or did you not want the game to go ahead, and they potentially get isolated. And so it was about as much about protecting the players in the squad until we had confirmation that the game was going ahead.
You say that it's not been a motivating factor. It's not a motivating factor for Saturday, the background, but you've had a reputation of always over the years being able to use external factors to motivate, to just use them to your advantage. You must be trying to pick the right buttons here.
Not at the moment. Maybe tomorrow, maybe to Saturday to get something on. But this is different circumstances. These are the circumstances that have been brought on by ourselves. So we can only take responsibility for those things ourselves. And so the focus needs to be purely on the next few days and training well, and like I said, and drawing a line under the sand, what's happening, and then bringing out the passion and the history and the expectation that comes with a Wales-England fixture.
Owen Farrell said yesterday that he had a certain sympathy for the Welsh players. How do you think England will be looking at this situation privately? Do you think they'll see you as easy pickings, or do you think there'll be a certain wariness?
Oh, I hope it's easy pickings.
And you think that?
I got no idea. I'm not in the English camp, so I'm not sure what they're, which way they'll be looking at it. To be perfectly honest, there's a lot of players in that squad that have, we've had some pretty close rivalries over the years, and I'm sure that a number of players will be talking about coming to Wales, and it's never an easy fixture. They've asked for the roof to be open, so the roof's open. We would have preferred it to be enclosed. Whether that dampens down a little bit of the atmosphere or not. The ironic thing is, when you look at the numbers, we have a better win record when the roof's open than it is when it's closed. So I don't know whether they've done their homework on that. It's going to be, I don't think that you can try and, with a game like this, try and create anything out of nothing. In the past, I may have said a couple of things that have backfired on me, and there'll be no sort of winding up the opposition, because I think this game takes care of itself.
Your captain, Ken Owens, when he spoke out the front there last night, sounded pretty rough, looked very drawn. What kind of shape is he in now?
Oh, it's no doubt that this week's taken a little bit of a toll on him in terms of being caught in the middle of a lot of things and the discussions, and But he's done a fantastic job in terms of supporting the players and leading the players with that regard. And made a joke today. Looked 10 years younger today, so it looked like a weight's been lifted off his shoulders. And I'm sure, given his experience and being involved in a number of battles over the years, that he'll definitely be up for it.
And on
Last
selection,
question.
sorry, George North, Liam Williams dropping out the squad. What is your message to them with the World Cup not far away?
The message to them is the same message that I gave from day one in the squad to all the players. Same message that I've given to you guys as well, is that we will be looking at some of the players within this group who haven't had a lot of rugby. We need to expose some of the youngster players, but keep some experience around them. We need to find out about some of the older players as well going forward. There's a lot of work for us to continue to do as a group to get better and to get to the levels that I know that we can get to. We're not quite there yet. Potentially there's a little bit more pain to go through, but I'm confident it will come through the other side.
Okay, thank you.
Warren, I appreciate you said you haven't thought about the contract situation. One in particular, Will Rollins, he's on 23, he's just too shy of that 25. What is your current understanding? Is there room to manoeuvre with him?
I didn't even know how many number caps he was on, so it's the first time that someone's asked me that question, so I haven't even thought about what the situation is with Will Rollins going forward. I haven't asked the union or even had any clarification on that.
So
Okay, thank you.
You were consulted when it came to this decision?
What's that?
You were not consulted when it came to this decision, because the 60 cap rule, we always thought this was you were involved in the discussion of this 25 switch, you were not part of.
I think I've explained on other occasions that they were looking at, this was brought in 2017, it got called Gatlands Law for some reason. And when I was asked about it, I could see some of the benefits in terms of helping the regions and supporting the regions, and my argument at the time was 30. If this was going to come in, the regions wanted 70 and we ended up with 60. The players obviously wanted it taken completely out, and I think the compromise was down to 25. So. But I wasn't consulted about that number or anything, yeah.
Okay, thank you. We'll move next door to the writers' briefing. We do have a Welsh-speaking player available on the top table after, so it'll be Gareth Thomas, and he'll be down later.